Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with MMA fighter Craig Callaghan. How are you, man?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Good, man. Look at you. From this image I can see, you don't look like a professional fighter. You look like a desk jockey or something, bro. What's up with that
Yeah,
dual image?
yeah, I know it's a little bit different. Oh, actually, I'm a sales rep too, so it's a bit of a shock when some of the customers find out.
You just bridge up and like tear your shirt off and you got some like tap out clothes or something.
Nah, the horrible ears are a dead giveaway.
Oh, that's it. That's true. That's true. They always say look for the cauliflower ears, right? Kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, man. Anyway, today I wanted to chat with you. Firstly, let's chat about your upcoming fight. You got
Yep.
a big fight against Stu Dare for the XFC welterweight title, XFC 60 on October 22nd, man. How are you
Yeah,
shaping up for that one?
yeah, feeling good. It's been a good camp. Really excited for it.
Awesome, man. So, what have you been doing in the lead up? That's anything different than normal, or it's all just your normal top training?
Nah, all pretty much normal standard fight camp. Just obviously more of it, being that it's a 5 round fight. Just a lot more reps and a lot more rounds and stuff like that. I've been getting them in, so yeah, it's all pretty much been stock standard for how we get ready for a fight.
Awesome, man. Your last fight was back early this year. I think it was in June. You fought
Yeah,
David Francis, right? That was a
yeah,
nice one, a good way to start back in on 2022.
yeah, exactly. Dave's a hell of a fighter, and I was excited to take that fight. And yeah, just sort of my night and everything we worked on in the camp, come off when we got in there.
So what did you work on then? Obviously landing that big hammer left that you've got, because that was the main finishing blow that you're working on. You're pouring a bit with that right hand and just through the left a few times, and then you finally connected, right?
Yeah, there's a few different setups that we got. I'm not going to give them away though,
Yeah.
but yeah, we work on a few different ways to get the shots that we want. And there's a few other things that we'd worked on as well that we actually didn't get to, like the shots I didn't get to hit, because we were trying to get them as the fight went on, sort of progressed through. But yeah, obviously got the finish nice and quick.
Yeah, man. And you're training at Integrated, right, with Adrian
Yeah,
Payne? Yeah,
yeah,
man. So in that fight, the thing that kind of stood out to me was the when you smelt blood in the water, you really went for it. And that sort of type of fighting is the type of thing that's synonymous with someone like Adrian, right? Like
yeah.
he's not playing in there, right? He's not outpointing people. He's going for finishes, and that was definitely what you did. As soon as you smelled a bit of blood in the water, you went for it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to let them recover. If you can get them in that position, there's no point in prolonging the fight if you can end it then and there.
Would you say that's your key weapon, your big left straight hand?
It's one of them. Got
Yeah.
a few others as well. That I think if people watch my fight, they'll see there's a few others that I have. But yeah, working on a lot more lately. Back doing sort of pads with Blair Studley from Nitro Boxing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just been working on a lot of stuff with him, and also working a lot of stuff with ads in the background as well.
Yeah, man. On that fight with Stu Dare, what do you see as his kind of strengths and weaknesses, man?
And I can't find too much on him, honestly. Obviously I've checked his record out online, and he's been around for a long time. He's fought a lot of good guys. He's fought a lot of guys in the UFC now. I know he's going to be tough. I've seen the last fight that he had against Mikey, but I actually can't find any other footage on him. But I think it's from looking at his record and stuff like that. He's going to be very well rounded. And sort of when you get to that higher level, you got to be well rounded. You can't really be too much of a one trick pony.
Yeah, man. The thing that pops to mind when you say UFC fight is obviously the Israel Adesanya fight, man. And
Yeah,
that's horrible to be part of that highlight reel, but just to have stepped in with someone like that's an advantage, I guess. And Stu
yeah,
Dare seems like a real fighter, right? He's fought in many different codes. He looks like he likes to throw down. Kind of reminds me of the old school, like maybe it just from my impression, he could be like an old school bare knuckle boxer or something. He just kind of comes across like that. I don't know if I'm
yeah,
correct, but he kind of seems like a real fighter.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I can't find too much on him, but from what I have seen, he is a gamer.
That's it, man. So you're quite experienced, man, on the Australian scene. 13 fights, 7 wins, 6 losses, if that still stands correct.
Yeah,
Um, your last 2 fights have been KOs at XFC in 2020 and 2022. Looking at your record, man, there's a lot of holes and gaps. Is that just due to life getting in the way, or what is the story?
yeah. Sort of life and work, stuff like that. I had a job change at the end of 2018, and just couldn't really get a camp in because there was a bit more travel involved, and being a new job, I didn't want to didn't want to do wrong by them because they took a chance, put me on. So, did right. And then, I would have fought earlier 2020, but obviously we all know what happened that year. COVID sort of just put a pin in everything. So that's why that fight was in December. Otherwise, sort of aiming to fight that May stage in 2020. But yeah, obviously just had to delay it to the end of the year.
So now this is the closest sort of fights you've had in a while. Is there a goal you're working towards now that you're having 2 fights in relatively close succession compared to before?
No, not really. Just taking the fights. Obviously, for the last one being number 1 contender spot, and then wanted to back it up pretty quickly while the momentum's there. So, no, just obviously to keep fighting, and there's no real goal. Obviously, first goal is to get an Australian title, because that's always been the first goal, and then just sort of tick that one off and just go from there and just keep setting goals and just talking to Adrian and seeing what's next.
Any aspirations to follow in Adrian's stead? I met him over here fighting in Macau. Obviously, he's fought all around the world with ONE FC and with a couple other promotions like Legend, which he fought over this way.
Oh, mate, if I could get a fight on ONE FC and fight internationally, that's obviously, that's every fighter's dream to get over there, but just take it one fight at a time. Obviously for those international contracts, you got to string a few together. And being that I did have a break and just got 2 in a row now, probably, might need to string another 2 or 3 together before you start looking at that international thing. Don't know, could come knocking earlier. Just got to take it sort of fight by fight.
That's it, man. And just wanted to talk to you about your history a bit, man. Like, what kicked you into martial arts and headed towards MMA?
Mate, I actually, like back home in Townsville, I was sort of just started doing kickboxing with some friends to lose some weight because I was pretty chubby kid. So yeah, just got into that and was doing the kickboxing 2 times a week at an MMA gym, and then just started doing grappling that same year and progressed into it, and just eventually just fell into it that way.
How long ago was that?
Oh, when did I start training? 2010.
2010. So you jumped straight into fights then, because you started fighting in 2010 as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty hectic. How did that feel, getting straight in there when you obviously you wouldn't have had the skills to back it up too much?
Nah, look, that's on my first coach. Sort of just throw you in. When I was training out at a dog factory up there, which obviously gym's not open anymore, and that was sort of the mentality. Throw them in and just fight. And then I eventually started training with Ian at Courage as the years went on, and then obviously the Integrated. But it was a bit of a big step jumping straight in, but is what it is.
Man, it takes a kind of a special type of person to have the guts to get in there and fight, especially when it comes to MMA. It's pretty it's pretty open, pretty wild. What is it that makes you kind of want to fight? Like, why do you fight? What do you think it comes from?
I don't know. I think probably just testing myself, because you get into a sport like this and then you just want to test yourself and test where you sit. Obviously just a challenge all the time of getting ready for a fight and then fighting. It's just that ultimate test on your character.
Yeah, and what sort of aspects of the training and MMA broken into so many different areas? Like, what sort of aspects do you kind of feel is the best for you, or what you enjoy the most?
I sort of enjoy most of it all the time. Otherwise you wouldn't be this far into fighting and stuff like that. I like I do like the kickboxing side of it. I like the freestyle wrestling side of it. Jiu-jitsu as well, but I'd say probably mainly just wrestling and the kickboxing.
Yep. Fair enough, man. And how do you find that whole, the thing of working as well as training at the same time? It's pretty difficult, right? Like, you got athletes that just focus on fighting and they get the chance to rest properly. They get the chance to do everything they need to. But when you're working, obviously, your priorities are split.
Yeah, it is hard because, you sort of get up in the morning, especially during a fight camp, get up in the morning, do a session early, come home, have brekkie, get ready for work, go work all day up to sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock, then get changed and go to training, then train till 7:30, 8 o'clock, get home, sort of repeat the process. It does make it hard because you can't really get that downtime too much during the day. But, obviously being, it's not like I'm out there doing manual labor or anything like that. That'd be 10 times harder trying to get a fight camp. Being a sales rep, sort of, it's obviously easier on the body. So you're just going around seeing customers all day, and it's not too bad, but yeah, you just get a bit tired as it goes on.
Yeah. Do you have any aspiration to become full-time, or you're just kind of keeping it on the side?
Just keep it on the side for now. Obviously full time. You've got to have obviously all your bills and stuff taken care of. I got a baby due in November, so that's sort of going full time fighting then. Probably not the ideal time, but at the moment, while I'm still able to keep training as much as I do and working full time, I'll just keep it on the side until I can make it a full time thing if possible.
Well, at least the training will keep you chilled out at your job, right? You wouldn't be getting upset with too many people because you'd save your energy for the gym.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's easier said than done some days, but yeah.
That's it, man. Can you talk a little bit about integrated MMA and training over there? Like what's good about the gym and who you train with, who you work with mostly?
Yeah, it's just obviously the gym's been one of the first MMA gyms in Australia, and it's had so many champions come out of it. Produced UFC fighters, and Ads is just a great coach, and I really enjoy learning from him because he's been there, he's done it. He's not just doing YouTube tutorials and teaching it or anything like that. He's forward, and the stuff that he shows us is real stuff that will work in a fight. Just sort of pretty much for that aspect training there. It's a good family, environment there training. So everyone's there for each other. If we got a fight camp, everyone's there training with each other.
That's it, man. And I usually ask people that I'm talking to about what sort of what you've learned along the way, probably about yourself, etc., through training martial arts that you can would be a benefit of actually doing martial arts for people out
there. Just probably you just know yourself sort of more. You get in touch with yourself while you're training. How far you can push your body. A lot of people, obviously, as much as it sounds stupid, but they've never been hit or anything like that. So it sort of gives you the confidence in everyday life, just knowing that you're doing something like this.
Yeah, man, putting yourself through difficult experiences, right? It develops, kind of builds the soul a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. What are your tips? Obviously, it's hard being a full-time employee as well as a professional MMA fighter. Doing the two together is very difficult. What are your tips for people? Like, how do you keep motivated to get to training every day and get to work and do what you need to do?
I mean, you just got to set goals for yourself to make sure that you get there, and just know, obviously, when you're part of a gym and you're training and other training partners of yours are in fight camp, you've got to be there for them. You got to help them because they're there to help you. But just to stay motivated, if you miss sessions and it's a session that your opponent or future opponent may not miss, you want to be there all the time and you want to be improving all the time. That's pretty much really about it.
And man, in your gym, do you guys these days MMA has turned a little bit more scientific? Lots of talk, lots of things about all these, they call them 1%ers. So your strength and conditioning and your sauna use and your rest and recovery and your diet and these things. Does your gym focus on these things as well?
Yeah, we do. We Ads is always honest because we've got times in classes where we've got to be doing what the class is. But if you're going to fight, especially professionally, he encourages you, you got to get your strength and conditioning in, and he has programs on the wall for us. So after class, got to get the strength and conditioning in, got to get your sprints in. For your diet, it's sort of up to you if you want to employ a dietitian or anything. You can always ask him for advice because he's made weight 50 times. I'd say something like that. He knows exactly what he's doing, so he's always there to guide the younger fighters.
Anything that you'd like to integrate a little bit more into your game that you see, externally from some of the other guys?
No, not really. Not off the top of my head. I can't really think too much of it.
Pretty happy with the whole setup, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been working. But I've just been training the same way for years at Integrated now. I've been there. So I moved from Towns. I think I've been there 6 years now, 6 or 7 years, been training there. So, my improvements as soon as I got to Integrated just was so fast compared to where I'd trained before.
Awesome. Hey, what would you say would be a tip for kind of true health, like general sort of health for people? Could be mental, could be physical. Like, what would you say to people that are obviously you're pretty in tune with your body and that?
Like as in for
just for the general person, like things they can do just to be, generally more healthy.
Just eat healthy. Don't don't eat shit. Make sure you train, make sure you exercise. Just obviously general health stuff. You know, there's no shortcut to being healthy. You just have to eat clean most of the time, and just look after your body. You know, make sure you stretch, make sure you do your physio and all that stuff.
Cool. Perfect, man. So in an ideal world, what's the next sort of year hold for you, man, for the end of this year and then on to next year?
So obviously fight next weekend on the 22nd. Then yeah, baby's due 24th of November. So that'll be the back end of the year there, and probably the first bit of next year, and then just evaluate then and see what's next.
Any big call for your fight on XFC 60, Stu Dare? You gonna take him out, or what's the plan?
I mean, it's always a plan to take him out, right? But you know, it's hard to formulate, or hard to think of a way you're going to take someone like Stu out. He's been there, he's done it heaps of times. So just however I can get the victory when I get in there, you know, that's what I'll be aiming for. Just look once I get in there and just work the game plan to make it happen.
Perfect, man. All right, well, wish you best of luck. XFC 60, October 22nd, man. I'll be watching, and yeah, hope you do really well.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.